All right. So good evening. Welcome to Inspired Parenting Presents Let's Talk Parenting. We have this every Saturday, and today we're going to talk about how to boost the grasping power of a child. And I think we need to understand what's grasping power. Um, so so there's a difference in memory and grasping. Okay, so grasping is how easily you can understand, how easily you can focus and understand something that's being told. So something like language. So if someone speaks to you in your native language, you grasp better. Whereas if it's different language, the grasping is not that good. Okay. Memory is how long can you retain that, and when time comes, how well you can apply it. Okay, so that's a different aspect of it. In fact, I want to start this series. I'm very excited, and we'll do grasping, couple of session on grasping, and then later on we will also look at memorizing techniques, and eventually we'll come up with a system which will basically something that you help your child prepare for exams and apply themselves, especially in competitive exams. These days, there's a flashcard technique that's been talked about, which is very popular, especially in US and especially for higher professional competitive exams. So we'll talk about that, and but the thing is, we need to understand certain principles about how our brain works, and that's why the whole series, we'll talk about grasping for a couple of sessions, and then we'll start discussing on memorizing techniques, and that will take at least 3-4 sessions if we have to cover and all the aspects of memorizing things. Okay, so coming back to our discussion about grasping. Okay, so this is going to be the part one where we will understand the learning styles. Okay, and then we will see how we can identify learning styles and how we can best use, okay, and how to use it for our advantage. So learning style, again, like I said, grasping is how well you understand the things. Why you should start with this is because very important to understand child's language. If you remember, I told you last time I wasn't performing well in my first half of the schooling. That's like till fifth. I failed in fifth. What happened there was I was in English medium school, so the language that I was spoken to, I didn't understand. So similarly, you might find a child struggling in school if the language that's been spoken, and it's not just the language that we know, English, Marathi, or any other language. It is the child's learning style is also is like a language. So we have to tap that. We have to understand how this child understands things. Okay. Um, so that is why learning style is important. So in general, there are at gross level there are 3 styles children understand. Okay, children understand things. One is visual, second is auditory, kinesthetic. Okay, and we'll talk about this, and we will understand how children of visual or how children of auditory understand things. And so let's talk about visual learner. So these guys, they prefer things coming visually to them, especially in terms of diagrams, okay, or something that show. If you show them a picture or video, they will be able to grasp things better. Now, important thing about picture is basically they are not very keen on learning things step by step. Okay, that means if you're talking, And then, we typically go systematically. We talk about one thing and then we talk about second thing. Now, these children will interrupt you, because what's happening is they are trying to form a picture, and then according to their style, they want to complete picture quickly, because when you start talking about, they have formed a picture and then they want to fill in the gaps. So they will quickly ask a question where they're trying to fill in the gap. Yeah. And this is where generally teachers struggle to keep children quiet and not to interrupt me, wait for your turn. But I would suggest that if you find such child, you have to be patient with them. You have to understand that their style is different. Okay. And they're not purposely trying to interrupt you, but they were trying to complete the picture. Yeah. They will take notes. Okay, these children. So how do you identify them? So they will speak quickly, they will try to interrupt you. Yeah, they will understand things better once you immediately show the diagram. They are like, oh, I understand now. Okay. These will try to sit in front because they want you to see you when you're talking, because our body language tells a lot. So they want to understand that through our body language also. So they will try to sit in front, and they will make sure they note, or they will doodle, or draw a diagram or something of what they have understood. So these are typical traits of visual learners. Okay. Now, auditory is little opposite to this. Okay. So the way auditory learners are quite patient. Yeah, they will try to understand things, how things happen sequentially. So they will listen to you. They're typically good listeners. Okay. So you will see them not asking too many questions. So again, many times these children are accused of not talking too much in the class, not asking too many questions in the class. Okay. So we have to be uh, kind of paying attention to them, why they do what they do, so that we are not uh, putting them in certain compartments and trying to label them. Typically what happens is, if a child is a visual learner, the teacher will give them more attention because they are interacting, and the auditory learners are ignored. Okay. So it's not that both are not learning, both are learning, they are just have different style. Yeah. Now, uh, it's just that they want to understand everything in sequence, and that's why they are patient. Okay. They will read slowly, because what's happening is they try to listen to themselves while reading, and that's why they read slowly. In fact, these are the children, they will try to read aloud also. So because when they listen, they understand better, and that's why they read aloud. Okay. So these are traits for auditory learners. Okay. Now coming to kinesthetic learners. Okay. Now just the way the auditory learners are labeled as, these guys don't participate, they don't talk, they don't understand anything. Similarly, these guys are labeled as naughty children, because they don't learn just by looking at things or listening to things. They have to do things. So they will be fiddling with their pencil, their books, or their friends. They might not like to sit at one place. They might not just want to go around. Okay. They want to be physically active so that they will learn. Right. So at times you might find a child who's not paying attention, just going there and playing something, but at the same time he's listening. Okay. And he's understanding things. So there's a possibility that a child may still understand. These guys want to do a lot of interaction. So interaction as in quiz. If you quiz them, they understand better. Okay. If you give them puzzle to solve, they will understand better. If you give them a tool that shows them how this concept works, then they will understand better. Yeah. So again, because they talk more with their hands, they will be talking slowly because they can't explain themselves. yeah, but they will be able to do things and show it to you. So you need to, these children, you need to give them that chance, that how they will be able to apply that, and how, whatever they have understood, how they'll be able to show you through some means, some other means, other than just words. Yeah. So these are the traits of kinesthetic learner. Now, very important thing, that once you understand your child, okay, there are ways by which you can enhance their learning, and thus, yeah. So if your child is a visual child, best way for them to learn will be, use highlighters in their notebook or textbook. Use color highlighting. Yeah, or you can, there is a flashcard technique you can use. Flashcard is basically one side there's a question, other side there's an answer, or a diagram, or a way to learn. You can use that. We'll learn more about flashcard later on, towards the end of our memorizing technique. It's a wonderful technique we will look at. Then they like to draw diagrams, so we should encourage them. uh, our basically education system is, all about just write the question, write the answer, and just try to memorize it in that manner. uh, Encourage your child to draw a diagram of an answer. Okay, maybe write the answer later, but first draw the diagram, and visual learners will be able to memorize things or understand things, going to memorize things better once they are able to draw the diagram of that answer, yeah, or that concept. When they draw, when they write an answer, if there are things that's not very easy for them to remember, certain word they'll keep forgetting. So for those words, okay, or certain concept, or certain line they may keep forgetting. For those lines, have them doodle it. Yeah, that means, a symbol, or some kind of a small picture of that particular idea. If you can get them to draw them in that answer, it will be very easy for them to memorize it. Okay, basically get them to write notes, get them to write as much as possible. That way they can memorize things, and create, tree chart, list, simple list is also fine with doodling, and that's how they can memorize things much better. Next, how you can and how you can use auditory learning style. To use auditory learning style, usually if there's an answer or idea, if you can present that in a music form, or a rhythm, or rhyme, they can remember better. Okay, so you can use that aid. uh, Tell them to read loud, so that their learning is faster when it is, when someone is reading loudly. You can also read them, or they can also read themselves. Okay, participate in group discussion, so that's another way. In fact, kinesthetic learner can also learn through, participate in group discussions. Okay, they can use recorded classes and listen to it, so that, when these guys want to review things, or they can actually record their answers and listen to it, as they are doing something else, and the answers are playing. So this is how you can review things. Teach others. So teaching others is a wonderful technique for, in fact, anyone. Yeah, but for auditory learners, that's an added advantage. So these are the things auditory learners can do, so that they can memorize things better. Then kinesthetic learners, okay, so for them to memorize things better, use puzzles, okay, games, not computer games. I would avoid computer games, but learning in through the form of experiments and games. So that would be the right way to put it. Okay, if you can go out and play with them, and that's how you want to teach them, that's even better. Okay, having them have them experiment in labs so that they can understand. Okay, basically any practical concept. Yeah, in fact, if we can't do that outside, get them to talk about the practical concept and how you can apply that in real life, and that's how they can understand the concept better. Okay, another thing is these guys will struggle sitting at one place and learning, and today that challenge is even bigger when when lockdown they have to sit in front of a screen and learn. So these guys will actually fiddle with screen a lot. So you need to understand what kind of a learner he is, and accordingly be empathetic towards them. But these guys will struggle. So they need to get up and go around and come back. So that's kinesthetic learning, a learner. So you need to give them a lot of breaks, short breaks. Yeah. Again, short breaks. When I say it, the break can be 5 minutes break. Now, let's have a look at this video. How we can use multi-sensory style to memorize things. So what was happening there? Very interesting. Number one, they're dancing. So it's visual. Number two, there's sound and rhyme. Okay, so it's auditory, and they are performing an activity. So it becomes kinesthetic for them. It's outdoor learning. So all these elements are put together. Okay, now why we should be worried about putting all these elements together? So very important thing to understand that we are not just one type of learner. So I will give example, like one person can be 80% auditory learner, 50% visual learner, and 30% kinesthetic learner. That means with kinesthetic activity also I'm learning. Maybe my learning or grasping is not that to full extent. Think lost power. Yeah, you must have lost connection for some time. Okay, coming back to our discussion. So we are not just a one type of learner. Okay, it's a different. We have different percentage of each of these styles. That's number one thing. Okay, and that's why when we mix number of things, okay, there are number of things happening. Our different styles are getting used, and that's why there are more connections in our brain, because of so many variables and elements around us. So that makes our memory better. And we are using all the styles, so the input is coming from different styles, and the grasping is better. That's one thing. Second, when we use other styles, so if a visual learner goes outdoors and is learning, okay, he's also developing kinesthetic style. So his efficiency will be less initially, as he practices more, efficiency will increase. So that's the key thing to remember, that we can work on our learning styles and develop them so that our overall efficiency increases. Or when the time comes, there's only auditory learning style available. Okay, because we practiced, we were, let's say, 30% auditory learner. Because we practiced, we became 60% auditory learner. And so there's an advantage when only that kind of learning method is available, right? So we should develop them. Now, again, how to develop them, that's a question. Yeah. We saw how a particular style is to be used. So, visual, we tell them to use color coding on the books, okay? Use flashcard, yeah? Make diagrams of concept. Okay, now when an auditory learner uses this, he's developing his visual learning style. Yeah, so we can develop different learning styles, and we should put attempt towards it, and that's because then overall learning or overall grasping style will improve. Yeah, of course, there's a tolerance towards it. As in, if you try to only give a visual learning style to a child who's kinesthetic or auditory, there can be a point where a child may say, no, I don't want to do it. Yeah, so we have to strike that balance, so that the learning is also happening. So he's learning in auditory also, so the child is getting encouragement because he's learning, and at the same time there are visual learning tool, and he's learning a different learning style. Okay, and he's developing different learning style. Okay, so we have to strike that balance. Otherwise, the child will get into a zone where he might get frustrated because nothing is coming. So we need to feed him in a style where he's comfortable also. Okay, so that's the important thing. Again, I would say, if you want to use this for your advantage, when you are doing general learning, okay, so taking notes when you attending class, reviewing class, or writing answers, yeah, try to do this with different learning styles so that the child develops. So but during exams, or when the time where you need more efficiency, that time encourage them to learn in their natural style. Yeah, so that basically you are getting advantage of the efficiency and the time during that time. Okay, so this is how we can help children to grasp better and apply them in their learning. Okay, so that's it from me, from the grasping. Next session we would look at how we can take care of our brain, our hardware, so that our grasping is better. Yeah, so there are 6 things we should look at and work towards, so that we are taking care of our brain, so that we can grasp things better. Okay, and then after that we will start discussing different aspects of memorizing, and we'll learn memorizing techniques. Any questions on what we've seen so far?
Bhaiya, I have one question.
Yeah.
How can we increase the attention span of a child? Should we push in that direction, or is it that we should live with it?
See, attention span is an aspect of there's this concept called desirable difficulty. Okay, so one is that if the input is coming in child's learning style, the child will be hooked. Okay, number one. Number two, the input that's coming in has to have a optimal, challenge for the child. If it's a lower challenge, the child will get bored. If it is too much of challenge, the child is going to give up, frustrate, and it's not in my grasp, and the child will not try to attempt or rather not pay attention. Uh, Another aspect is we need to understand the younger the child is, the smaller the child is, they tend to pay attention to something that's most attractive around their environment. So, what you want them to pay attention to has to be the most attractive, around that. So we need to remove the distractions. Yeah. So if there are more distraction, the child is obviously going to pay attention to something that is most interesting around them. It's a very natural tendency. It happens with us also. Okay, we try to pay attention to something that is most attractive around us. Yeah. So that's why moving pictures will always get their attention. Someone suddenly coming inside will get their attention. So we have to remove those distractions when that's happening. Yeah. Obviously we'll understand this concept later on, that these distraction is required once they grow up and they are learning, doing their higher studies. So we'll have a look at that. But when if the child is younger, then if you want them to focus, um, the thing that you want them to focus needs to be the most attractive in that environment. That's the key.
Thank you, Bhaiya. That is useful.
Yeah. Any other question?
We were hoping that whenever it is possible, if you can cover some aspects of how to praise a child, that would be very interesting too.
How to praise the child?
Yes. What is the correct way of praising the child?
Yeah. So what is the correct way of praising the child? Um, so let's take that as a 2-minute step for the day. Okay. What is the right way to praise the child? I would suggest don't praise the child. Okay. Um, Praise always have this underlying agenda that we are trying to influence the child. But nevertheless, praising child is also important because appreciation is one of our needs towards love. It's one of the love languages. Yeah. Now, when a child, when you want to appreciate a child, the best way I would suggest is when we are genuinely involved in what the child is doing. When we, if you talk to them about the details of what they are doing, when they understand that, oh, you've been paying attention. Okay. It in other words, basically, it tells child that the child, you are interested in the child, and that's how the child gets appreciated. Okay. Or gets that importance that you can spare so much of time. They are seeing us, they see us, we are busy, we are doing things, but nevertheless there is a time that you take away and pay attention to what the child is doing. Now that becomes appreciation for them. So paying attention to the details of what they are doing, then talking about it. Okay, giving them the proof that you are doing that, you've been watching, and you are interested in, you want to understand the child. The more the child sees that you want to understand the child even more, that gives them appreciation, that gives them that praise. So basically, get into the subjects of what your child is doing, what they are learning. Talk about the details of what they are learning. Okay. You guys can talk about the notes, the music notes, because both the children are interested in music. Okay, so when you do that, they will actually feel appreciated. And in that process, if you even give some feedback, that doesn't act like a feedback, because you are actually discussing something at a very different level, where the connections is very strong. Yeah, and in that process, even if the child has played a note incorrect and you talk about it, I feel it could have been this way. Yeah, the child actually feels appreciated, that you have taken that time, and you are upfront, and you are respecting them, to give that kind of a feedback also. So I suggest, don't praise your child.
Interesting, Bhaiya. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll see you next week. Till then, happy parenting. Yeah, we'll look at the grasping power part 2 next week, same time. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.